What's up, Bridget?
What's
How's
up,
it going?
Jason Tucker?
What's up, everyone? We got a decent number of people hanging out in here.
I see some familiar faces
Yep,
from Orange County.
exactly. So, Bridget and I thought we would put on our bandanas for no apparent reason. We're starting a new gang. It's orange. We're starting an orange camp gang.
For those watching on YouTube, so Roy from the WP crowd gave me a shirt, and I was thinking, I should wear my Orange County bandana. See, we're Camp Orange County. Was this last year, Jason?
Yeah, last year.
Yeah, and I never wore it because I don't really wear things on my head. But then I was like, because the orange at WP would be really cool. And then I signed on, and you were wearing it. I'm like, that's it. I'm going to go get it. I knew exactly where it was.
I feel like we're working in the soda factory. One of us has to take it off and like stick it on the thing and have it go across. That was a glove.
Vernon Shirley.
Exactly.
That soda factory is a brewery. Because you put it my way.
And I'm drinking coffee tonight, so
what was that theme song? Oh my gosh, I love that show. We are not.
Yeah.
Wait, which one of us is Laverne? Which one of us is Shirley?
I don't know.
That's the opportunity for the chat room right there.
Folks, so if you're watching this later and you just tuned out, I'm so sorry. We digress.
Sleep deprivation.
Exactly. So we don't do the intro song anymore because we have to get Bridget to record another one because she's kind of tired of this one at this point. So
it's weird to hear it.
That hasn't happened just yet. So, folks, thank you for being on the show, watching the show, interacting with the show. Here's how the show works. We use this thing called blab.im. If you go to the right-hand side of the screen on the very bottom and you click on the little box that says send a message, you can then use the input device of your choice, which is probably the keyboard. You type in some words, you hit the enter key, and it types in some words. It's awesome. This is like technology from like way back when that they brought it to the future and has applied HTML5 to it. If you want to ask a question in the chat, you can click on the little link there, and then it will let you ask a question. It's the first thing, so it actually saves you from typing /Q. So you put that in there, and then you ask a question. Like, is Jonathan really British?
Yep.
And then guess what happens? It will then show up in the queue here, and then we can say, yes, Jonathan is British. Ta-da! And then there you go. So that's how you use that. I know, I am funny. Oh my goodness. Okay, so that's how all that stuff works. If you're watching this later, feel free to leave some comments. Bridget and I will definitely answer those questions and whatnot in there. And if you have any other questions, suggestions, or anything like that, or if you like the show, on the far left-hand side, right under where it says our topic, you can click on that, and it will send out a tweet or a Facebook letting people know that you're watching this thing. Bridget, is that about it?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry. I was trying to be ahead because, okay, so my mind just got blown.
Uh-oh.
Which is the gimmick of...
Of what? How to type and use a keyboard?
When my mind is no longer blown, you have to have another co-host. That's our gimmick. No, because so somebody asked me as a beginner, like literally a year ago, I'd done my first WordPress site. What were some of my frustrations? And I felt like finding a theme was a really difficult thing. So I was just going to go to WordPress.org and see how many themes there are. Just so I could say, oh, there's 2,000 themes or whatever. And I saw this button, commercial themes. Since when are commercial themes in the repo?
Oh.
Did you see this?
No, I did not see this.
Holy GPL, Batman, when did this happen? I thought that was the whole problem with, like, if you're going to let commercial themes, you got to let in commercial plugins. So that's why I'm a little I got distracted really quick.
Well, they don't have any of their social share buttons on there or social share stuff on there, so it's not actually showing up when I go and pin it.
No, it's not. They don't have a featured image.
Yeah, no featured image. Come on, guys.
But there are 2,000 free themes. I'm just really surprised. I've never seen the commercial theme. And when you go to it, it goes to their
I remember them.
Place where you buy it?
I remember them doing something kind of like this, but it was more for, was it just hosting? They did something like this not too long, or maybe it was maybe a year ago or something like that. But it's really interesting looking through this list to kind of see the different shops that are in here and how far down Woo Themes is showing up in that list.
Did they have to do that because Automatic bought Woo?
I don't know.
This is bizarre.
I wonder if you refresh if it will no, it doesn't even do it random. Interesting. Well, I'll have to set up a script and do some screenshots every so often and see if this thing ever changes.
It's just different, and I never saw that, and so it threw me off when you were saying is anything else going on. And I'm like, yeah, when were there commercial themes in the repo? The whole thing that Matt Mullenweg said at the State of the Word is we don't want to be Joomla with all of their weirdness,
right?
And disintegrating the WordPress community by having commercialized products in the repository. So
yeah,
what up, MATT?
That's really interesting. I mean, I'm looking through this list of different, and if you guys are following along here at home, it'll be in the show notes. It'll also be in the chat over there. Bridget posted it just a moment ago. So I'm looking through this list, and the ones that I'm familiar with is organic themes. I've used them before. I've used obviously Woo Themes. WP Zoom, I've used that. Array.io, I've used them. Theme Hybrid, and that's it.
Man, this is what I wish Slack was on this computer, because I'm gonna slap my Mac. Where's advanced Facebook WordPress when you need them?
Well, Cyberchimps. Cyberchimps is another one. But so yeah, it's interesting to see all these listed here. That is kind of crazy. And I guess you can also, upload your theme up here as well. I guess, it says here the themes for the sites that support non-GPL compatible themes or don't meet with the theme review guidelines will not be approved. And then they also have to be theme unit tested. And so there's a little bit of kind of battery that needs to they need to go through a little bit of stuff to actually get landed there. Well, that's cool.
It's just different. It's just unexpected, so it threw me off.
Yeah. So tonight's theme, we're going to be talking about how to pick the right WordPress theme, which is it's kind of it's a little bit link baity in a way, but the idea here is that we're not going to have the answer for all of them, which is kind of the point of this whole thing. Is that it as we say over at WP Watercooler, it depends, and so it totally does depend. But we're going to kind of talk a couple of these things, and then what we're going to do is over the next couple of shows. Probably next, say, months or two down the line here, we'll revisit this topic, but we'll talk about it more from the state of a particular type of business that you're running or a particular type of website that you're trying to produce or whatever like that. Kind of go through that, maybe even get some kind of industry folks in here to talk a little bit about that sort of thing. So if you have questions regarding a very particular type of theme, or if you're looking to do this sort of stuff for your own site, or you're just like, I run this dog blog. What's the best dog blog site theme? What should I use? And what should I be looking for? Please let us know. What I will tell you right now is don't go looking for a site that has a dog on the picture of the thing because you're running a dog blog. That is like the wrong way to go when it comes to trying to pick out a theme.
Yeah.
So Bridget, what type of what themes have you used? Like what maybe theme houses that you've bought your theme through, or have you even purchased a theme before?
I have not. No. Okay, so when I first made my first site, which was for my former employer, I spent days, no joke, days. Because everything seemed cool. And then one of the neat things is, of course, I was using a desktop server, and you can go look up a theme because we weren't going to buy a theme at this point, right?
Right.
So I would say that most beginners probably don't buy themes. And I would recommend to a beginner not to buy a theme because you don't even know what you want yet. You think you know what you want, but you don't. So don't waste your money until you've been in there for a while and you start to realize what really you do want. I would say that. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's my advice 1 year later.
Yep.
And I liked that that there was a feature filter. So if I knew I wanted themes that had black, I could only see the themes that had black.
Okay.
If I wanted a sidebar, one or two sidebars, if I wanted it to be mobile responsive, which why wouldn't you want it to be mobile responsive?
At this point, sure.
Right. Okay. So I liked that. But still, there's so many that I got sucked into the black hole of choosing a theme. And the problem with me was I'm by no means or by any stretch of the imagination anywhere near qualified to do any kind of graphic art at all whatsoever. Okay?
Yep.
So every time you try to preview a theme, it would never really look right because the header image is different for every single theme on the face of this planet.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. So finally, I picked a theme. It was beautiful. And then it wasn't responsive like it said. Hey, Heather, I know you just wanted to see our scarves. Yes, we're Camp Orange County. And so then I actually looked at it on my iPhone, and it wasn't responsive. Okay?
Yeah.
So I had set my heart, and I fell in love. And then I was like, you know what? 2010. I don't give a crap anymore. I just didn't. It was too frustrating. Sometimes you just have to land on something. Now, knowing what I know now, you could use a page builder, blah, 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 beaver builder, blah, 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 right? But just in that first step, it's almost like there are too many choices.
There are way too many choices, but I think that's a good thing. If you take the time to really start vetting what is out there and using the resources that are available to you. So, WPwatercooler, we've done, I don't know how many different shows about just themes, like that. Like, I have this type of site, I want a theme. I want to do this type of thing, I want a theme. And most of the time people are trying to find themes that just like you install it and you're good to go. And I think that's a really poor way of going about doing this stuff, because it's almost like you're just gonna pick something up off the shelf and put it up there and be like, all right, I'll slap my logo on it and done.
Yeah, I want it to be Legos.
Yeah, like you want to be able to add your own little special touch to it, and you want to have it look good and feel right, and do all the things that's supposed to.
Yeah, and when you're just starting out, especially if you're hiring an agency, they're going to do this for you.
Right.
This is why you hire an agency, which I recommend.
Yeah.
But if it's yourself, sometimes you just have to make a choice,
Yeah.
And now, I didn't know then, but now I've heard Adam Silver say 2 or 3 times, if you can find yourself a theme that's about 75% right, just stick with it.
Mm-hmm.
75% is good enough.
Yeah.
But it is hard, and I think that if you calculate how much your time costs, not even how much your time is worth, but just how much your time costs, because I was into job costing.
Right.
So how many days you're spending at X amount an hour finding a theme, it's really hard. And so also, sometimes you want the theme to do everything. And as a beginner, I now know a year in, but I didn't then, that a lot of the bells and whistles aren't necessarily a good thing. You really want the plugins to do that kind of stuff. So literally all I knew is pick something that has high ratings, that's been recently updated, that's compatible with the most recent version of WordPress, and has a lot of downloads.
Yeah.
That's all I knew to discern.
And those are good places to start. But I think you're going to end up where the just because it's popular, it doesn't mean that it's right. Like the second you go on Theme Forest and you have that $65 sitting in your hand, because that's pretty much what those things cost. You go on ThemeForest and you go digging around in there, and you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna sort by popular. You end up with like the craziest themes that have been, you're like, oh, I wonder if this one's a good one. I'm curious. This Aveda, Aveda has 200,000 thises and that's. It's only $59. This is going to be awesome. And then you start digging through all of the different questions and stuff. You're like, oh, I wonder if this is popular. I'll do a Google search for it. And all these people are like, oh, it's the best theme ever. It's the best whatever ever. Or, Salient or Juniper. There's all these different ones that are like the top ones, just by looking over on ThemeForest. You're like, wow, these are the best ones to use. And you're like, well, they're trying to be something for everyone. Like I always hear people say X, the theme. Oh, that one's a great one to use. I should definitely use that one. One of my friends uses the 7 is the theme that he uses, and I loaded that thing up, and I was just like, oh, like I got a migraine. I was just like, are you kidding me? Like this thing is crazy, because it's trying to be everything for everyone. And there's always going to be some switch. It's almost like they just picked you up and stuck you in the cockpit of a 1970s airplane. And you just look around and you're just like, there's nothing electronic here. Everything's a bunch of switches. None of them are in English. What do I do? Because that's pretty much what it is. Like these things are just so crazy. You don't know what to do.
And I totally relate to that, because when I was buying my keyboard, because I play piano, there were certain things I wanted. I'd go to the Guitar Center. I wanted a keyboard that was weighted. I wanted it to feel like a piano. And so everybody was like, get a Korg, get a Korg. And I went there, and that was the exact problem. Because if you've ever played music live and you press the wrong button, it's like a disaster.
Yeah.
So that everybody loves those Korg Tritons, but they have too many buttons on them. So I did up with a Roland that just only had like 4 or 5 different sounds. I don't care, because I only wanted to sound like a grand piano.
But the Korg comes in red. Don't you want the red one?
That's the Nord.
Oh, the Nord. That's what we have. But we have Nord at our church.
Yeah, I thought about getting the Nord too. But so that's the thing is, but when you're a very beginner, I feel like if I had bought a theme, I feel like I'd be unhappy today. Whereas today, I feel like I would be better at buying a theme.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you need a little bit of experience with what does what, where, if you're super new.
Yeah.
I don't know. And so that's how I felt when I bought my keyboard.
But how could you say no to a theme that has 34,000 sales? Not downloads. Sales. Like somebody took out their $59 out of their PayPal and threw it at the team and was like, I want this. Or the granddaddy of them all, Aveda.
I know. The only reason why I know that name is because you guys always say,
because we always make fun of it. I pretend I say that it's the store that's in the mall. That's Aveda, but it's a totally different thing. But every time I walk by that store in the mall, I just go, oh, that thing has had 214,000 downloads.
Well, then
at $59 a pop.
So the flip side is you're going to look like everybody else. But then you could do that with 2015, 2016, 2013, 2010, blah, 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 blah. But I think at the very, very beginning, so there's, for your own self, who gives a crap?
Right.
I have Hemingway. I had Hemingway on .com. I still have Hemingway. I didn't like the image being, I didn't like that weird thing in the center. So you know what I did? I uploaded a transparent image. Problem solved. Didn't need a child theme.
Yep.
I just uploaded a transparent image. So I think it's good to practice.
Yeah.
But the more that I'm kind of involved, the more I think, you know what? It's better to hire somebody. But if you are going to do it, don't spend days and days like I did. Don't do that. I mean, because if you think about how much, so at 2 full days at $20 an hour is 16 times 20. Somebody do some math. How many themes could I bought premium for that?
Right. But then there's other things too. So like we're just talking right now, or have just talked about just buying a theme, just one theme.
Just searching for it.
You searched around, you went and found a theme, you bought the theme, and that's it. So there's other ways to go about this too. So you could actually go to a site like Elegant Themes. They have a club. At least they used to have a club, if I remember correctly. They probably still have their club.
Theme of the month.
Yeah, where you just pay for it. So yeah, it's so they have a lifetime access. You could also do per year as well. So for $89 a year, and I'll put this in the link, put a link in here. And by the way, folks, all of these links, none of them have affiliate links on it. None of this has any of that stuff. This is straight up. We're just talking here. This is it. So the developer package you get for $89 a year. You get access to all the themes that are on there, and you're good to go, including the Photoshop files. So if you're somebody who's savvy enough with Photoshop, you can get up in there and make changes to all the stuff. The difference between the developer and the personal with these guys is that the personal doesn't come with the plugins that they have, and the developer does come with the plugins. And if you wanted to go all out and you really love Elegant Themes, $249 you get for one-time fee. You get access to it for life.
$250 for the whole life, not per year?
Yeah, for your life, you get it for $250 forever.
Aren't they the people that make Divi and Divi Page Builder?
They sure are. So
they have the Divi Nation podcast. That's the same people. Yep.
Exactly. So those that would be like one of those ways. Now another one, if you wanted to kind of compare apples to apples here, there's another company called Array Themes. It's a big one that Chris Lema loves. And I tend to love things Chris Lema loves. I don't like cigars. I'm not a cigar person, and he loves cigars, so that's probably the only difference. So for $249, wait, what does that sound like? $250? It's like the same thing, right? You can get a lifetime membership, yet again, $89 for the 1-year membership, or $49 if you just want to buy one theme. Boom, that's it. So
$49 is pretty inexpensive.
Yeah.
Is that per year? Is that a license per year? Is that a lifetime?
I think that's for. I just closed the window. Let's see. That one. Oh, yeah. I totally closed the window.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Like Heather works with the Genesis framework,
yeah.
So she's talking about Studio Press. So if you're a Genesis, that would be different, right?
Well, so with Studio Press, if you wanted to have, you can buy one of their themes. I got to pull it up here. You can buy one of their themes, which then comes with Genesis, and you're all good to go there. You can also buy Genesis itself, and then kind of go from it that way. I have an account with them, so I've been using their stuff for years. So I haven't been using it as much recently, but we'll kind of get into that in a little bit. So there's the link to Studio Press's kind of offering there.
That was Copyblogger, right? Rainmaker.
Yeah,
Copyblogger,
it's that whole collective. Yep.
So Heather's saying that Genesis is like you have to buy Genesis.
Correct.
And then the themes you buy from Studio Press are technically child themes.
Yeah, and if it's funny because you'll download it, and you'll look at the theme, and you're just like, there's not much in here. Like there's a graphic, there's a couple graphics, there's a CSS file. It's really like the CSS file and those one or two PHP files that are in there that just really make everything get tied together and really, kind of build it and make it look nice, which, Genesis uses a totally different kind of way of thinking when it comes to using hooks and filters and stuff, and applying those changes to it programmatically versus just like having it, build a separate page every time. So yeah, dig around in there, take a look at Studio Press's offerings. I love their stuff. And if you're not a coder, there's plenty of ways of taking Genesis and kind of really making it your own without even doing any code. So, if you ever hear somebody talk about how Genesis is very code heavy, it can be, but yeah. And Heather is totally right. You should go over and take a look at Carrie Deal's podcast and all the stuff that Carrie's doing over there, and check out the stuff that she talks about regarding Genesis, because Genesis it's kind of one of the larger ones out there, and it's one that has a huge following, and design-wise, it just makes you look like you're brilliant, even though you just slapped the theme on there and called it a day.
Well, I wouldn't say just, but the people that I've talked to that are Genesis people,
yeah,
they're like the cold juice people. They're totally into it. I mean,
well, I would actually say that they're more Starbucks people, because
I just mean like they're really evangelical.
Right.
Like once you meet somebody that drinks cold pressed juice,
yeah,
you're never going to drink orange juice again, and they're going to tell you you're drinking too much sugar and you're ruining your life. The people that I know are super passionate about Genesis.
Yep.
It's not like, yeah, Genesis is a choice. No, it's like, Genesis, that's what makes me live and breathe, and I super love it. Like, it's just funny, you know. I was talking to somebody at the after party at San Diego. It was like, Genesis, 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 and it's not the band. And so that's great. You know, it's great that when you find somebody that's super passionate about it, because you know it has to be good, right? Because people aren't like that passionate about, you know, Hemingway, the Hemingway theme. You know, I'm just saying.
So regarding Genesis, you don't just have to buy the child themes from Studio Press. You could definitely go check out Web Savvy Marketing stuff, and kind of get an idea of what Rebecca Gill's doing over there. She's been on WP Watercooler quite a few different times. And here's a link to one of those if you want to watch at a later date. But yeah, she talking about Genesis framework and how to use it and yada yada yada. So we've talked a ton now about like buying one theme, buying a framework, and a kind of a collection of themes, and being able to have access to those. Like, what makes a good theme? And I think you said it while you were talking earlier, Bridget. And what makes a really good theme is when you take there's a separation between functionality and design and layout and UX and UI and all that stuff. When there's a deep separation between those two, it's great, because you don't have to worry about having like the functionality part of the theme just blow up, or you're trying to run extra plugins on top of that theme, or you're doing whatever, and you end up with like double the amount of stuff that's going on.
So my husband's a car guy.
Yeah.
Obsessed. He knows everything about cars. He should have a WP car blab or whatever. But anyway, so every time we see a Jaguar, he says, "Oh my gosh, that's the most beautiful car ever made. But they have electrical problems." Every single time.
I love Volkswagens, except they catch on fire when you're driving down the freeway.
That happened to my stepdad. And I used to have a VW Bug, and you have to tinker with it all the time. Yep. So in some ways, because he talks about cars so much, I relate to that. Like, is it form or function? You know, sometimes all you need is to get from A to B with the smallest car loan ever. So you get a Fiesta like me. Right? But sometimes you want to make an impression. So you're fine with the Jaguar because you can afford the mechanic that lives at your house. So, but, so we see something, we think that it's really beautiful. And then we forget that there's something behind it that sometimes matters more. Right. So as a marketer, I'm like, oh, wow, that's beautiful. And then you're like, come back to us. Don't be deceived, Yeah. So it was tricky, Say Reed gave a great talk at LA last year. It's called Theming something. It was all about pun. It was a pun thing.
Of course it was. A pun.
Yeah, I'll find it in a second. But it really helped me, because that's when she said, the theme is about design. If you want your website to do something, that's a plugin. Yeah. And I did not know that.
It's totally true. I mean, you would think, oh, I just want to get this theme that does everything, and I just want it to work. And so I think the only kind of exception to that is when it comes to e-commerce solutions.
Right.
So like if you want a theme that's going to work really well, but you also want it to work really well with Woo themes, get one that's Woo themes compatible. And the reason why you do that is because that way the interface for the purchases and the interface for the checking out and all of that stuff, you really want that to work well. And you know the kind of the claim to fame with Woo themes is that, with WooCommerce, is that you can just install it on any theme. Sure, you sure can. Nothing is stopping you from installing it on anything. But if you install it on a theme that has kind of all of the stuff that it needs in order to look good and work well, that's when you end up with a really good user experience, both for yourself as well as for your users. So yeah, if that's something you're looking for, then definitely that would be the thing you should go after, is looking for, is it Woo themes compatible or is it whatever compatible?
E-commerce is a totally different, like that almost has to be a totally different
episode. It totally is. Yep.
So we're going to not answer e-commerce today.
Nope, not at all.
Sorry. Save those questions for next time.
So here's the deal, folks. If you want to hop in the hot seat, feel free to hop in the hot seat. We'd be more than happy to have you jump in and say hi, even if it's just for a minute. If you have any questions or anything like that, you can ask them in this hot seat by clicking on the seat button below Bridget and I, and then be able to ask your questions and whatnot there. If you just want to talk in the chat room or whatever, feel free to do that. Just type in /Q space and then your question, and then we'd be more than happy to answer those questions for you there. So let's see here. We talked about Genesis. We talked about these like theme clubs, which there's just a ton of them. There's theme marketplaces, which is like where you can go and buy a theme that from like it's almost like a curated list of themes. There's those types of places. There's a bunch of those out there. We did an entire episode on WPwatercooler just about those. What else is there? So like,
I mean, the design does matter. It should match your logo and stuff.
Yeah, it totally should.
Colors should match.
Yeah, and earlier today, not that everyone knows this or anything, but earlier today we were kind of discussing, I think it was on Facebook or something, it was like a starter
Facebook
theme. What's a starter theme and how does that work? And so, like underscores, which is kind of one of these themes that does absolutely nothing until you really start applying. Like, don't install underscores, Bridget. Like that's not gonna
be the first year person.
Right, exactly.
I would say that's at least level 3,
that
right?
Totally is level 3.
Themes 301.
That's when Matt and Devin have to fire you and then hire you again as a developer.
Right?
That's when they're like, oh, she just leveled up.
I don't think I'm going to be installing underscores anytime soon.
She's about to just go run this place now. All right, fine. Another one that's great is Theme Foundry. Theme Foundry makes probably one of my favorite themes that I've used on quite a few different projects, which is the theme called Make, and its sister product, which is Make Pro. It's kind of like a theme builder type page builder type setup. Has its own stuff kind of built in. I like it. I think it looks really nice. I think it uses the customizer really well, and I think it's a pretty cool setup.
Is this the theme? The theme that Make is using? Is that the same theme?
Yeah, that's the theme. Mm-hmm.
See, I don't like these horizontal ones. I think I'm the only one.
What do you mean?
These ones that just scroll and scroll and scroll. Like, they look beautiful at first, but there's no scroll. Like, it's hard to see the scroll bar. Okay, so my husband is 78, 9, whatever.
He keeps changing every year, darn it.
I know. Those years just keep clicking. And so that's my level of IT support. They'll go, I don't know how to do this.
Wait, but what I like about Make, I mean, you're looking at the right one here, right?
It's beautiful. And I like the big font.
Right, that's what I was just going to say.
Like, I want to experiment with the child theme just so I can have 36-point font.
Right.
So I can read it.
But if you want to learn a little bit more about it, Post Status did a whole blog post back in 2014 about it. Chris Lim has done a post about it. The small little upstart called Wired magazine.
I know. I just saw Wired. Dang.
They did a thing about it, so it's not like it's just like some little BS, theme. It's some legit stuff.
Nobody does not like it.
Yeah, so definitely go take a look at that and just kind of see if that's something that might help you out a little bit. What I like about these is that
there goes your Saturday.
yeah, there's a bit of a separation there. So like for this, it's totally free to install it and use it. For $100, that's when you get the Plus package where you get additional features. It works with their e-commerce or works with e-commerce solutions. It custom design work. I mean, it's nice. My question thing on the left,
it's not showing
up. So we'll just have to dig through the chat here. So
here's one from Van Ziegler. What would be your favorite interactive theme?
Interactive. So
what's you mean, like actually reading the stuff is interactive? What does interactive mean in the context of this?
If you're thinking maybe there's this trend of when you're scrolling, the different pieces of the elements start popping up as you're scrolling down the page. I've seen those things where there's like a trigger at the bottom.
Sort of flashy,
it's not really interactive, but it just kind of like adds a little bit of
animated.
That's kind of cool, yeah. If anything, it's just using JavaScript just for the sake of JavaScript, which is kind of annoying.
Okay. That's for another show.
Yep. If you give us a little bit more regarding that, Van Ziegler, would be more than happy to kind of answer your question regarding that. Let's see here. Is there a place that actively discusses current design trends on the web? Ooh, yeah. There's this one that I like called Pineapple. I want to say it's pineapple.io. Let me see here. I'm not logged into the correct browser window, so I don't have that set up here. Let me see if this is the right one. Yeah. There's this site that I like a lot called pineapple.io. And it's kind of it's like one of those like web resources type sites where you just get a big long link list of stuff. I typically dig through here just to kind of see what's going on in the world and what types of things are happening in regards to web design and web development and all that sort of thing. Take a look at that. I really like that site a lot.
Jonathan says, I personally get totally off track with people wanting their themes to find unicorns and fairies. And forgot to rainbows and leprechauns.
Oh boy. Another site, I am not going to try to to say this one. BQN web design. If you go check out that one, it's like kind of it's kind of like a link list type site. This one doesn't really change a whole lot, but it's just a long list of all sorts of really cool stuff to go check out. But yeah, that would be a cool one as well. If you're looking for different sites that have like design aggregation or just stuff that's out on the internet.
Oh, here's a question with parallax. I would love that parallax is a word being defined.
It is. Continue.
I'm fielding that to you, bro.
Wait, what is a parallax?
Yeah, what is parallax? It's like a beta. Everybody says it. I have no idea what it means. I just found out the difference between front end and back end.
All right,
so I am still kind of
parallax. New. Parallax is it's used different ways. So like in like Disney cartoons, parallax was this idea of having multiple layers on top of each other, and the furthest one would go the slowest. The next one up would go a little bit faster. Next one up a little faster. So it's showing that there's like a depth there between front to back
in animation.
Right. So that way, when the character's running across the screen, the thing in the front is going to repeat a whole bunch of times because that's what they did back in the day. But they would be able to make it so that you would show some depth that's happening there. So parallax in this case is actually more about having a background in some type of div or web element or something. So as you scroll the page, a section of it that's this big is moving, yet the whole thing is only this big. So it's moving inside of that spot.
Okay, I've seen that.
So that would be parallax. So you're adding a little bit of dimension by, when you're scrolling the screen, having that part of it kind of move just a little bit.
I don't know how many of these people are being sarcastic in the chat.
That's okay.
I don't have enough discernment yet.
It's all right.
I feel like 90% of it is sarcastic.
If they want to troll us, it's cool. I'll just keep answering questions. Why not? What is right click? Oh, so right click is when you... No, just kidding. Let's see here. What else do we got here? Why do people use WordPress? Oh, no. Wait. What? Oh, my goodness. Owen Does It says, it's so hard because it keeps moving. Why do people use WordPress, love parallax, and hate APIs?
We don't hate
APIs. We love APIs.
API-loving.
We want everything to have API.
Our plugin has an API.
Yeah.
We love APIs.
It's all about the APIs.
I don't know what that is either, but I just know we love it.
I totally agree with Devin. Like, who are you hanging out with? So you should definitely go over to the WordPress meetup page and go find a local meetup, and then go hang out with people who actually want to use APIs, because APIs make you look awesomer because you can use somebody else's web service to do great things on your site.
Okay, so...
Wow, we definitely got some trolling going on here. That's crazy. All right. Dude, this stupid...
Hey, Jason Tucker.
Yes.
Take a screenshot. We made it. We finally got a hater. We got a hater. We got a hater.
It only took us a while, right?
We're just talking.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. Okay, well, moving on.
That was easy.
What the H? Or as Kimmy Schmidt would say, what the fudge?
What the fudge? Okay, we got one down. What else we got?
Oh my gosh.
Is it true, though?
Crazy.
It's like, having you go and set up a new website and you launch it, and you're like, I'm not getting any comments. And then you start getting a few comments, you're like, oh, this is awesome. And then the first spammer shows up, and you're like, yes!
Yeah.
The internet knows I exist now. I know my site's only been up for so long, but the internet knows I exist.
Yeah, when I got my first Twitter hater, he called me a monster, worse than Hitler, because I don't like the retweet button, and I'm very vocal about it. And so I just took, and he linked to my blog post about why I don't use the retweet button.
Oh my gosh.
So I just out of my analytics. I said, thanks for all the web traffic.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh.
Oh man. I don't know what to tell you, man.
Alrighty. So let's see here. So we've talked about a bunch of stuffs here, right? We talked about all sorts of things.
If you find a theme you like, 75% going with Adam Silver.
Yeah.
Then you have a couple of options, right? At that point, you can either child theme.
Yep.
Or use a page builder.
Yep.
That was my segue for you. I'm just making the segue.
Yeah, so child theme or page builder.
I just learned about child theme 2 days ago.
Well, you can use child themes and page builders at the same time. So
you can?
So yeah, you could totally do that.
Child theme, I can still use my Beaver Builder?
Yeah, you could use Beaver Builder. You can install Beaver Builder's theme, then install their child theme on top of it.
So it's like a grandchild theme?
No, you can't do that. We don't do grandchild themes.
But if you install a child theme, it has another child theme. Is it a sibling or is it a grandchild? That's what I'm saying. The family tree is breaking down.
Oh, man. So you can download the Beaver Builder child theme.
Okay.
There's a whole page about using their child theme over here, and I shall share that in the chat. So, yeah, you can totally go and use their child theme, and then, continue kind of going from there. So the reason why you'd want to use a child theme is, and just in case any of you don't know, is that using the child theme will allow the parent theme to be updated and not affect that child theme. So as the parent theme gets updated, minor changes will kind of creep in, or major changes will creep in on top under the minor changes that the child theme introduces when you go and make it. So if you want like the big header graphic to be something or whatever, yeah, you can do that. Wow, the chat's going really slow because I just posted that like 3 minutes ago.
Because we got rid of the troll.
I guess so.
That's what happened.
So yeah, there's that. That's what a child theme is for. So now that I've kind of sold Beaver Builder to Bridget and this idea of using,
I already bought it. So.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, I've sold you on the idea of using Beaver Builder.
Yeah, I didn't know it was in addition to. I thought it was instead of.
Yeah, it's for both. So you could use Beaver Builder on anything, but they have their theme that you could download, which is kind of a blank slate. And then if you wanted to use the child theme on top of it, yeah, go for it. You make all the little changes and all the things that you want using that.
Why is Adam Thompson saying WP 4.5? It's 4.5.1 now, right?
Yeah. Well, probably because he doesn't know there's a 0.1.
I know, but what is the context? I'm missing some context.
Yeah, give us more. And while you're doing that, I'm going to dig real quick.
Anyway, I thought it would be a good topic because I think it's a black hole, super black hole.
Now you're just putting letters. Yeah. It's cool. All right. So let's see here. So I guess we can talk a little bit about why you would use Beaver Builder versus something else. I mean, I've used Beaver Builder, I've used Divi, I've used
Headway. That looked really complicated.
Headway is pretty complicated.
You have to draw the boxes yourself?
Yeah.
How about you just shoot me now? What's that age?
Well, Devin Walker, what is the best looking WordPress?
I like 2015. I like the 20s. Of course, I'm using Hemingway, and that's free.
I haven't.
I'm
not
using
the guy to ask.
2016 on one. I'm using 2016 on one. I'm using 20, and I'm using Hemingway on my other one. I guess it depends on what you're doing. Like, if you're like really into photography, there's really a lot now that just have like giant images. You know?
Oh, like a monster hero graphic?
Or it's like, it's almost made for you to just throw on your Instagram.
Oh, I see.
Like almost an RSS of your Instagram. A lot of photo. It looks like there's a lot of themes lately for photographers, I should have said.
Yeah. There is. There is a bunch of those type. I mean, that's kind of the trend right now, is having that huge hero graphic, having a huge graphic that for the featured image and that sort of stuff, which I don't see anything wrong with it. I think it looks nice. If it changes every single page, it doesn't get cached. Yeah. So you end up with this like 200 to 300K file that's being downloaded to fill the entire screen of your 27-inch iMac, when really you're just looking at it on your iPhone.
Oh, is Adam Thompson talking about Visual Composer?
Oh.
He's
Adam
saying
Thompson,
VC, and I'm old enough to know that's the Viet Cong. So, what is VC in the WordPress world?
I don't use Visual Composer at all. Like, I went to the doctor and got rid of the Visual Composer. Yeah, I don't use Visual Composer. I did get brought onto a project that was using Visual Composer, and the person that was building this site initially absolutely loved it, and then they wanted me to help them out with it, and I ended up doing the work for free because I didn't I looked at it and was like, I'll show you what to change. And then I showed him what to change, and then I walked away slowly. I was like, I don't want to mess with this thing. What I don't like about Visual Composer is that it kind of comes in two flavors. There's like a light version that's like not light, but like a built-in to the theme version, and then there's the one that you pay for to get the updates and all of that. I don't know. I'm not very cool with that. I know that Beaver Builder is also doing that same type of thing where they're going to make it so that you can bake in Beaver Builder into your theme, which I think is smart, and that's why Visual Composer did the exact same thing. Same with like Divi and a few others, where it's just that's kind of the trend is to try to get people to start using your interface and get really used to it. Yeah, it's marketing totally, but I think I think if you get too big too fast, that gets a little scary. And hopefully, I'd imagine Beaver Builder will probably go about it the right way of making sure that their thing doesn't get kind of built into. It's almost like those CDs that they used to like sell for $5 that had like 9,900 different apps.
I thought you were going to talk about Columbia House.
No. The CDs that are the computer CDs where it's like, here's all the shareware programs, and so you have all these shareware games that you would install on your computer. It's kind of like that in some regards, where you have these themes, like Aveda was one of them. There's a whole bunch of these ones, Revolution. There's a whole bunch of these ones that are out there that they would just go crazy and put like 900 different sliders in there. Well, every one of those sliders is yet another plugin or another whatever that they baked into the theme instead of having it be a separate theme altogether.
Okay, so devil's advocate,
plugin altogether.
Devil's advocate, which is my role on this planet. Why don't people like sliders? Is it like it's so 90s, or is it like this is super bulky and it takes 10 years to load up your website?
Well, there's been, I don't want to say studies because it makes it sound like somebody like is doing like
95% of dentists recommend.
Right. There has been research, let's just say. That's an easier that's an easier way of going about it.
And
there has been some research
test.
Right, exactly. That only like the first one or two slides on a slider are actually ever looked at.
Oh, because nobody's seeing all the content.
Right. So and they're not clicking on any of them. Like we've set up tons of click tracking and stuff on the sliders we used to have on our website at work, and no one would ever click on it. It was just like advertisements going by. It was almost like you're driving down the freeway and you're just seeing one ad after another, and it's the same stinking ad over and over again. How long are they going to be looking at that slider? Like 0.4 seconds. They're going to instantly scroll the second they hop on the site to go find the next thing to look at. So yeah, I'm not too keen on sliders.
So it's just the style.
Yeah, I mean sliders for like a gallery where you're going to flip through a bunch of pictures.
Like a carousel? Is a carousel technically a slider? Right. Getting rid of my carousel?
Well, Jacob just posted a thing in there called "Should I Use a Carousel.com?"
No way. I love Jacob.
He is. Jacob. He's awesome.
My favorite front-end developer. So, should I use a carousel? Oh my God, you have to click through it? That's like carousel purgatory. Okay, that's funny. That's some kind of front-end JavaScript joke. That's no longer my favorite front-end developer. I take it back.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is kind of funny, though. Now I'm reassessing my whole BridgetWiller.com front page.
Well, that's what we're here for. Is hopefully every week you're going to have to redesign your website just because we found something interesting to talk about regarding the thing that's on your website.
Oh, I forgot to say, like what's important to me in a theme isn't any of that. I want text that you can read. Meaning, I want a font size, a minimum font size of like 16 or 18.
Yeah.
Okay. It's even worse on your phone. And I'm done with this white background with like the lightest gray that's possible with a hexadecimal code with 10-point font. And I'm not exaggerating. I literally saw a website like that this week. I'm like, seriously, bro? I got to highlight this and put it in Microsoft Word so I can read it? Guess what? BOUNCE. Bounce. Goodbye. I don't know why that's cool. That is like the black websites with white text that needs to die. That needs to die faster. You know, it's too hard to read.
Boy.
Everybody's sitting around talking about how people with 2G internet should be able to use web.
Yeah.
Let's talk about people over 40 being able to read stuff. And we have glasses on. Just going to leave it right there.
Command plus.
I know. That's why I know it. But I shouldn't have to Command plus on everything. And it doesn't always work either.
Or it turns into a responsive website. You're like, I'm on a phone on my laptop.
Right?
What am I doing?
Oh, man. I just say, when all you hipster web developers turn 45, you're going to change your themes. Because you'll love the people that are older.
Yeah, but that's going to be in like 20 years, so who cares?
I know, it's too long. I won't give a crap when I'm 60. Will you still need me? Will you still feed me? When I'm 64.
Oh, man.
I'm going to be 63 in 20 years.
So what I look for, to answer the same question that you answered, so that way you can take a drink.
Thank you.
Is what I look for in a theme, outside of it looking nice and feeling great and all of that fun stuff, is I want to find, which themes, I want to find themes that are being used by a decent chunk of people, and that people that I really admire or really feel that they have kind of vetted this thing. But I also look for themes that have just a lot. Oh, Jonathan and your Trump.
I know. I cannot wait to have friends again. What's November?
Yeah, really.
What's the day after November? Whatever.
So I'll get back onto the train, put the train back on the track. So what I look for is support. And I'm not talking about the kind of support where I can pay the company to log into my website and go and fix it. What I'm looking for, and I don't mind doing that, if the developer is trustworthy and whatnot. But what I'm really looking for is for that community who's like, they want to get together and they want to talk about the theme and say, I'm having problems with this thing. I want this thing to work better. I want this thing to be a better product. I want this company to be around so that way the product is good. That's the kind of stuff that I'm looking for. And so that's why I ended up, that's why I'm using Beaver Builder. It's because it has a really good community. Now, mind you, this is a little bit different because this is Beaver Builder is not just a theme. It's a very, very lightweight theme. No, it's a plugin that has all this extra features attached to it. So that's what I was looking for is when they're going to have a good forum. They're going to have a good support place. They even have Slack. So if you can hop on Slack and just complain about, hey, I'm trying to do this thing and it's not working. What the heck? That type of stuff. That's the stuff that I'm looking for.
You want to know if they're going to be there for you. Yeah.
And if it's not them, is there enough people that are using it? Which is why Genesis was so great for me back when I was running my own shop. Is that I wanted to be able to go on the Genesis forums or just do a search for Genesis. How do I make blank? Mm-hmm. And I'll be able to find an answer for it. And the support in Genesis is just phenomenal. Even outside of the Genesis ecosystem itself, it's just all these different people who really want to share that really want to share like their abilities to make changes to Genesis, and that they've taken the time to actually write some blog posts to kind of help support that.
I mean, that makes sense. You also want to know that it's going to be compatible with the next version of. I mean, if WordPress has 4 major updates a year,
yeah,
you're going to want to make sure that people are going to be there for you on that end, right?
Well, and the iPhone only has one every year.
I know, and that causes a lot of ruckus.
And there's a tick and a talk to it.
What do you mean?
One big major one, which is the tick.
Oh, yeah.
And then one minor one that's the talk.
Yeah, for sure.
So should we define a hipster web dev?
No, because I just, I'm sorry, but sometimes the things I say are just for entertainment value. I have all kinds of people that are under 35 that I love and that drink cold pressed juice and go to yoga. So it's just a funny thing. Like, the Gen Xers, you can make fun of us all you want. We liked our cassette tape subscriptions and the Viet Cong. Like, oh my God. It's so bad when I see these things. I'm like,
so bad.
Oh, man. Social references. That's where you really show your age. And when styles come back, and you're like, that was what I was wearing when I was in junior high. I can't believe this is back. Oh man.
So wait, so Jonathan was in here talking about voting for Trump or thinking people should vote for Trump, or I don't know what. It's too many words, Jonathan. If you just said like 3 words, like it's a bumper sticker, I'd totally read it. But now he's pitching his web development company. I love you, Jonathan. You're awesome. So, what else should we talk about, Bridget? Should we kind of open it up for discussion? We're going to have like 2 separate segments in this show. Who wants to hop in, ask a question, maybe talk about something other than what the topic at hand here is?
Just whatever. Yeah. Who wants to break the monotony? We double talk dare you to plug in your microphone and turn on the light in your bedroom.
Like Jacob, if you want to hop in and say hi, have at it, Jacob. I'd love to have you hang out for a minute. I've only seen you for only just a couple hours ago, so why not? Or Devin, Mr. Walker, if you want to hop in and say hi.
I see lots of people I know up in there. Those little circles.
Right?
I wonder where the circle trend is going to die.
We got Michael. I was just hanging out with Michael. Yeah, the meetup. Michael, if you want to come hang out, feel free to. Wow.
Green Earth is that?
Oh my gosh! Somebody just
GitHub, yo.
Somebody just JSON'd all up in this place.
Oh jeez!
Why are you dropping the JSON?
You're gonna have to block. This is to be 2 blocks the same night.
Dude, this is awesome. We're getting there now.
Yep, that's it. Last week, Blab totally failed us. This week, we got 2.
The JSON crapped all over the whole show.
Wow.
I don't know.
So are you gonna teach about Beaver Builder on Monday?
Yeah, that's the plan. I'm gonna kind of just spin up a whole. We're talking about the WordPress OC meetup. Yeah. This is the designer meetup, which isn't a meetup that I typically go to, but I think it's a meetup that I should go to more often, just because. Wow, that chat is super slow.
I know, it's like 10 years ago.
It's like hours ago.
It's so slow. Like, that's how bad my jokes are.
Yeah, no joke. They're like, wow, it just finally landed.
12 cents per penny.
So yeah. So Beaver, and then they're watching it like way later. So
I know. Okay.
So yeah, we're gonna talk about Beaver Builder. I'm gonna kind of go through how Beaver Builder works. Steve kind of did an overview of Beaver Builder, but he's not using it on a day-to-day basis. So yeah, I thought I would jump in and kind of give a little bit of an idea behind how that thing works and how we use it over at the church and how we use it, or how I use it just on my different sites and stuff. Drag and drop some things around. Are you thinking about going out to that meetup?
I've been out in public so much in the last 15 days that my husband's like, you're gone too much.
Right.
I'm just with my nerd friends. It's not like I'm bar hopping or something. I was seriously considering it though, but it also is a good segue to remind people in our local geographic area who watch the show, or people who want to come to Orange County for a vacation, that WordCamp Orange County is accepting speaker applications.
Yeah.
So if you're a first timer,
I put mine in.
You did?
Speak. Yeah.
Are you allowed to say what you put it in for?
I did not sign a non-disclosure agreement, so I
don't know how WordCamps are. It might be like, don't say.
Mine was about well, it's kind of simple, and it's something we've talked about here on the show, but using O embeds.
Oh, O embeds are important.
Like why you should use O embeds. Talking a little bit now that O embeds, now that your own site can be O embedded.
Yeah, that doesn't always look that right. I did that because, that was the last release, is that WordPress supported O embeds of your own as long as you're on that. So I was like, okay, well, I talked about this here, and then I dropped in my link. But then the featured image didn't look right.
Right.
So the featured image looks right according to my theme. But then the O embed support for that, it looked like a piece of crap. I was disappointed. So, but I like O embeds, obviously. And then not every theme, I found out, supports responsiveness with the O embeds.
Oh.
So I've had to use iFramely to embed YouTube videos.
Oh, wow. That's not good.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm trying to add Jacob in here and it's not working. Can you try it?
I'm not a host. I'm just
What?
a guest. I know. I got downgraded. That's what happens when you screw up Blab 1 week.
Jeez. I don't trust this chick anymore.
The Blab is... Okay, so I was on Blab with Adam Silver 3 weeks ago, and it just sent him the video today. That video I shared today... Blab, go home. You're drunk.
I'm telling you, you have to go and you have to get on Twitter and you got to message them and say, I want my video. And then they go like, oh, let me
told
go
Adam to do that. I said, that's what Jason Tucker has to do. And then I finally got a notice. Your Blab is ready for replay. It's like, oh, yeah? Like, anybody cares. WordCamp San Diego's over now. Nobody cares.
Gosh.
Now it's taking 10 years to accept Jacob.
I accepted it.
Now we feel like we're in a seance, right? Everybody just like.
Okay, everybody, put your hands on the Ouija board. Let's make this happen.
So, oh my gosh, that is so tricky. All
right, I got the Ouija board. Let's do this. Come on, Bridget. Let's do this. Home.
It doesn't work. So we tried another video platform last night. What was it called?
Oh my gosh.
That's where
Bridget, the things that I saw cannot be unseen.
The little kids are all on that.
Bridget, the things that I saw, I had to go explain to my wife. I was like, look, I watched a girl for about 20 minutes dance. No joke. She was just dancing in the middle of her living room with her mom and all these people. And people are throwing money at her. No joke. This thing, that whole process is like real currency being thrown at them. Uh-oh. You got disconnected or something.
Hello? It kicked out Jason Tucker! Stupid Blab! I swear to God.
No, Bridget.
Bridget?
Here, kind of.
Shall I play Jason Tucker now?
Yeah. So, Jason Tucker,
well, you can't see me?
You have to say, what's up, folks?
What's up, folks?
I thought maybe you could tell us some of the 4.5 awesomeness, just off the top of your head. Not all the weird Cody things, but the really cool things.
4.5. What did I talk about?
What was your favorite part about 4.5?
I like the Markdown support.
Markdown support was cool. And I tried it and it didn't work for me, so I think they did take it away.
Yeah.
It worked in your gift because the 4.5.1.
I had it in that GIF, and then
hi guys.
Somehow it got taken away.
It's just that link shortener. It's convenient. Like I was playing around with it today.
Hello?
No, a couple days ago when I wrote about my WordPress immersion program.
Oh, the content editor?
Yeah. When you go to the link and it just goes like that and you just press return, that's great if you want it to be the link that goes away.
Target blank?
I want target blank.
No, target blank is not good.
Why? Why? Okay, tell it to me.
Because the only use case I think for target blank is that in case the user has some data in that current window that she doesn't want to lose by leaving that particular page, right?
Oh, so there's a best practice reason. Yeah.
But outside of that, you're disrupting the normal flow a user has on web, I think. You're forcing that, right? It's so if a person's going to come back to your site, they're going to come back to your site. And if a person wants to open up a tab and a link in a new tab because they don't want to leave your site, they're going to do that.
Yeah, I always do that. I always right-click into a new tab anyway.
Yeah. But if all of a sudden you start forcing that link to open a new tab, I think you're going to upset users. That's my.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, I don't have any data to back that up.
You have experience as a person who front-end develops or whatever.
And not back-end develop.
I mean, what do you do when you're on a site? Do you have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tabs open right now? Like I do?
I have multiple tabs, multiple windows.
Oh my gosh.
And multiple browsers.
Oh man.
Yeah, it gets a little too crazy. But in general, I default to don't do target blank.
So maybe that's why they made it that way. It's just
yeah, for sure. I think that's a default kind of user behavior. Even if you go into if you log into your WordPress site, you go to the dashboard. So you know how on the dashboard they have one of the little widgets are like WordPress news or whatever.
Yeah.
If you click on that, that doesn't do target blank. That actually sends you to the site, kicks you out of your existing site.
I know, and I always right-click because I want that dashboard open and I want to see what it really looks like.
Right. So you are dictating as opposed to all of a sudden the developer is dictating how you should.
Oh, options, not choices. Options, not dictations.
Options, not dictation. I mean, I like, if we're talking about WordPress 4.5, I like that, the excerpts are now part of the search. I know we were talking about that on Monday for a while. I always thought that the excerpts were part of the search.
I had no idea.
Yeah. But I think that's a cool conversation. I don't think the clients that I interface a lot with, I don't think they take advantage of using excerpts. They kind of just let the first, I think WordPress defaults the first 55 words, or is it 55 characters? One of the two. Probably
words.
Yeah, I think it's words. But if you don't explicitly put an excerpt in your WordPress post, it's just going to take in the first 55 words, and that's just not always going to be enticing for a user to click on it.
Right. After listening to you talk about it, I was like, this could be good for the headline that you really wanted, but you didn't do because you didn't think it was the headline Google wants.
Yeah.
One time I wrote this blog post called, "Oh God, we got Jason."
Dude, this stupid site
This is what Blab did to me last week.
This site sucks.
So I wrote this post called "Soylent Green is People." Have you seen the movie Soylent Green?
No.
Oh, jeez. So in this movie, Soylent Green, or whatever it's called, is it called Soylent Green?
I don't know.
So anyway, the premise is that what they did, because there was no food left, it's a little bit like Blade Runner. It's one of those science fiction future movies.
Oh, okay.
And so what they did was, it was with Charlton Heston, and they what they did was they paid homeless people to die early with euthanasia because there was a food shortage, and they would let them live like a really great week. And then they would use that person in the food supplements that you got called Soylent Green. And
Weird.
So this guy found out it's called Soylent Green. He's like, Soylent Green is people. Like nobody knew it was people. So I thought it was a really funny blog post, right? But Google doesn't know what, only people that know the movie are going to get it. Like social media is about people. Soylent Green is people. So it was everybody my age and older who'd seen the movie was like totally into it.
Yeah, Jacob, get with the program here, dude.
So when you were saying that, I was thinking that you could have the title that's good for Google, and then in the excerpt you could put like your subtitle, like alternate heading. That's
getting into that like SEO hackiness that tend to kind of try to stay away.
Why? If people can't find it, why did you build it in the first place?
Build it, they will come.
That never happens. I love you.
I agree. That's all you need to know. That's it. Just build the thing.
Hey, the JavaScript works. I'm done.
I don't know. I mean, I don't want to get into the whole SEO thing, but I mean, if you have a good product or good content, people are going to find you and they're going to keep coming back.
Yeah, but when you share it on social media too, it's the same thing. People don't even know what Soylent Green is. They don't get the joke. So sometimes headlines are almost like a joke, right? So if I say this guy walks into a bar, I have this unfinished social media joke. 3 recorded tweets walk into a bar and the bartender says, I'm not finished with it because I need my good punchline.
Oh.
Right?
I love it.
So I have these vivid dreams when I'm telling jokes. And but anyway, so I thought that would be really funny, like social media stand up or whatever. Anyway, I'm a nerd. But so I think sometimes these are really great headlines because you are trying to get their attention,
Yep.
So that excerpt, that's a really interesting feature.
Yeah. Someone in the chat said that excerpt is still bad, that you have to use right. So I'm not quite sure what that means. I've run into any issues using the excerpt function in WordPress. One really cool function or thing that came out in 4.5 is the login via email, which is cool.
Yeah.
I'm always a cool fan of when the core team is able to roll in things that you have to use a plugin into core. So a lot of times, nowadays, if you're building a site or an application for yourself or someone that involves users logging in, right, to the site, like if it's a membership site or whatever, it's pretty common nowadays for people to be able to log in via their email, right, as opposed to choosing a username. So having that, before we'd have to use a plugin, or if you want to, you can code it up yourself. So now that it's in core, that's a really cool thing. Keeping up with the times.
Oh, you found it. Oh, that was the Soylent Green. Here's a blog post, just like Soylent Green, social media's people. So if you don't get what the movie is, you're not going to get it.
You wrote a blog post on LinkedIn?
Yeah. Sometimes those work.
Are you telling me that you're ditching WordPress for LinkedIn?
No. Never ditching, experimenting. Never ditching.
Just joking.
I think I'm kind of committed now. I'm wearing the headband, so
now you just need to use Medium and have your Medium link over to your LinkedIn that then links over to your WordPress.
I do use Medium.
Boom! It's just gonna be amazing.
What I do, I just wrote a post called 2004 called and wants this PayPal button back. It's a piece of shit.
Featuring Jason Tucker.
It's the ugliest Dreamweaver 2004 set glass-looking button. It makes. I know
it has a guy digging on the top of it.
No, it has a picture of a cassette tape and a floppy disk, and then the PayPal button. I'll find it. No, but I think sometimes it's good to experiment.
Use for the button.
Well, we want them to use GIF, right?
Yeah, because
why are you using a PayPal button when you have WordPress?
You can use GIF.
You can.
And not just for nonprofits.
You can use it for crowdfunding instead of Kickstarter.
Yes.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Oh, man, I'm bad. I'm so bad. I am a marketer. But now I feel like my people, I don't want them to waste their money giving it to people that.
Bridget, I saw, was it a tweet that you put that you're doing a design work now?
What? Oh, I was just drawing a website. I think that's called wireframes or something.
So you were wireframing?
Yeah, I think that's what it's called. I was writing a landing page, and I took a picture of my cubicle guy that was so sad. I put it on my Instagram. People were like, "Oh, is that a guy in a car?" I'm like, "That's my drawing skills." Then my friend said, "There's software that does that." I go, she goes, "What did you use to do that?" I go, "Piece of paper and a pen and tape," because it's like.
Oh my gosh, Bridget!
I told you, I'm a Twitter.
When I do some wireframing, I will I'll start off with a pen and paper.
Oh, you do? Okay, thanks.
Although I use like a grid paper, so I'm able to make a straight line and stuff. But
I do that when I make quilts.
Page frog
paper.
So a question came into the chat asking about page frog. Page frog, I have to remember now. The instant, yeah. It's the Facebook instant articles thingamabob.
Oh.
Jason Cosper talked about it not too long ago on Watercooler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looks cool. It has the kind of the unofficial official one was it lacked a lot of stuff. But yeah, page frog looks pretty interesting. I like it because there's more knobs to twist.
I thought it was supposed to be minimalist.
But like
broken images on their site. Actually.
What does?
Page frog.
It puts broken images on your site?
No, their current site, their page frog's site has broken images.
I don't think they said it 3 times fast before they decided that was their name.
Right.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have been in that meeting.
Just saying. I'm just scrolling on, that's all.
Well, yeah. I mean, I know that the AMP is supposed to be better for people's bad cell phone service or whatever, but what is the advantage with Facebook Instant Articles? Is it competing with AMP?
It stays within the within Facebook's interface. So when you go to click on it, it just takes you straight in there, and it loads up just the stuff that it needs and nothing more. And it they're making it so that on Google you can have their Google ads on there, but Facebook's gonna want you to use their own Facebook ads on there, which kind of screws with a lot of people's business models. I'm not too keen on that. Like, I want to know who I want to make money from.
So I had an experience this weekend at WordCamp where I had 2 bars on 3G.
Uh-oh.
I had between 2 and 3 bars on 3G no matter where I was. I couldn't even get on Facebook. I mean, it would open, but then it wouldn't do stuff. So it wouldn't give me those instant articles. Yeah,
but think of all of the selfies that you were able to take because you couldn't get onto Facebook.
I know. I had extra time. I added 17 more people to my Guru Selfies landing page.
I saw that. That's awesome.
That was fun. That's a ridiculous.
And I love the one that sticks out is the one of you and I because we put text on top of it.
Oh, yeah, because you made me do that.
I sure did.
Just put a regular picture.
What is this selfie landing page, Bridget?
Okay, so I think you might be on it, actually, so I should probably tell you. Okay, so I had this idea.
Your likeness is being used to promote her things.
So I made this. Okay,
you need to Getty image her and be like, hey, so I want my money.
This is what your guys' WordPress-ness is doing to me. So then I start going, ooh, could I use Beaver Builder to build a landing page for my selfie gallery, and can I use Boo Gallery shortcode inside of it?
Why, yes, you can.
Because I don't want to have to keep adding an image with Beaver Builder when I can just go to the Foo Gallery and just keep adding images in that actual gallery, and then I never have to update the page because all I had to do is update the gallery. So then I thought, oh, this would be really fun at WordCamp San Diego to get people like an icebreaker thing, like a gimmick. Yeah. So I said, come and find me and get your Guru selfie.
Nice.
And so you could be on my Guru selfie, hashtag Guru selfies. And so because I was a very isolated person and I started making myself go out in public, I think 2011 is the first picture. I'm not mistaken. Or is it, 2010 is the first time I met somebody I knew on Twitter. So that's what I started doing I got to start making an effort to, people were like, wow, you're a real person. Cause I'd been on Twitter since 2007.
And then you got a picture with Amy on there.
Yeah. That's when I first met her.
Nice.
So
you can use a Foo Gallery shortcode with the Beaver Builder page. That's the answer. So
the links inside of the Blab chat stream is a perfect use case for having target blank, because you don't want to lose the page on Blab that you're currently on, because then you'll get dropped.
Right. So
that's a perfect use case to, yes, open up this link in a new tab, because I don't want to lose my existing page, which is Blab. Otherwise, I'll get dropped.
Right. Yeah, that makes more sense. You're right. So, yeah, that's what I did.
Awesome.
Right.
You did a good job.
Thank you. I love the Foo Gallery because it just does all that work for you. All you have to do is put it in the media library.
What's Foo Gallery?
Foo Gallery is made by Foo Plugins. It's a free plugin. And
Foo, not woo, right?
Foo, F-O-O, like the Foo Fighters. Their band.
Not the Woo Fighters, because that'd be lame.
F-O-O. So I use that, and I use their video gallery. So their video gallery plugin, like I'll show you, it's on bridgetwillard.com/Bridget Willard bio. It's not that I'm annoyed. It's not that I'm like super narcissistic. It's just SEO people told me to use my name all over the place. So you can make these galleries of videos. So I have one with people I interviewed, one with my Guru Minute, because I have a neglected series of advice in 1 minute, social media strategy. I call it Guru Minute. And then so you could make all these different galleries. Like, so with Foo Gallery, even with the Foo Video Gallery, you can actually import an entire YouTube playlist. Boom. And it throws the screen grabs into your media library immediately. And then you just put the short code wherever you want it.
So
super bitchin'. It's like the best thing I ever found.
Screen grab, but when I press play, it'll fire it off.
Yeah, right? It opens to a light box.
Pretty fancy.
It is.
Happening on your website.
What?
You have a lot of stuff happening on your website.
Yeah, so if you just go to bridgetwillard.com, I made a landing page with Beaver Builder. Because I decided for my 1-year anniversary, I would treat myself, so I bought Beaver Builder. I want it to be more legit and less like a blog. So then I made bridgetwillard.com/blog for the blog part.
Right.
And if you go to that, you can see the Facebook reviews plugin. You know, like, so now, like, every plugin I want to test, it's on bridgetwillard.com. Am I just testing plugins?
Yeah, I totally went so minimalist on my site. I have like nothing running. It's just content.
Well, mine went crazy. Mine was just out of control. And I was like, what do you really need to read of mine? You need to see my videos. You need to see the keys to being social. And that's all I really care about. And I just made 4 more things. So it
whoa, you did go minimal. Like there's, dude, you don't even have like an H1 that says like your name on it.
Because he's like, I'm done with websites. I don't care anymore.
I'm in WordPress all day at work, so I just made a static.
You didn't even want to deal with comments, so you put discuss on there.
Yeah, I actually even took it off of WordPress. I just made it a static site generator.
What?
Oh yeah, you told us that you did that.
Oh my gosh, man!
It wasn't anything against WordPress. It was just.
Oh my god, Jacob, your about page. I'm afraid of
But what's funny is he has this thing through Cloudflare.
That's hilarious.
Like, please don't take down my static website.
Cloudflare.
Yeah, there's Cloudflare stuff's on there.
Well, it's hosted by GitHub Pages, so maybe GitHub Pages is using Cloudflare.
Oh, maybe. So
Let's
you're not using Jekyll?
GitHub.
I'm not using Jekyll. I built it with something called Metalsmith, which is a JavaScript.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's a whole other. It's a JavaScript static site generator.
It's a JavaScript static site generator. It wasn't that just HTML? Wasn't that the original?
Yeah, well, it takes your markup.
Jacob.
Yeah, it's a whole other.
Dude, you're so sassy. Your handlebars have brackets, man.
Oh my God.
You need to get some more bourbon. That's neat. Okay, I don't get it, man. That's crazy sauce.
Well, maybe
you should be doing a tumbler or something, dude. Like
a tumbler.
I stripped it all down. I'm like, screw it. It's all about the text.
I'm gonna tell your boss.
That's so funny.
Jacob isn't even running WordPress. WTF?
Toyota pickup,
Well, I'm sure people are burnt out. I'm sure people get burnt out. I
didn't have time to go through updates and deal with it and hosting. I'm like, screw it. I mean, since I'm using WordPress all day at work, that's fine.
Oh, I'm your polar opposite then, dude, because I have so many sites that I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I'm in between you guys. But I did just finally write, in my carousel on the bottom, which now I might not have anymore, my latest blog post. It's 2 days ago, a month ago. I just don't write there that much anymore. I have some rough drafts still, and then I'll have my Keys to Being Social series done. But it's
Are you talking about the carousel that's on your homepage?
Yeah. I used Beaver Builder.
With the Foo plugin?
No, that's with Beaver Builder. I used the Foo plugin for the gallery.
Okay.
Or anything that's like a gallery. But the Beaver Builder already had that carousel. I don't know. I just thought, are people going to really know my blog? I don't know. I might take it off. I don't know. Sometimes it's just fun to experiment. It's not so I wrote a post the other day and I got 52 hits. That was breaking my blog. It's not like people are like, why aren't you writing?
Right.
It doesn't matter. It's just for me to have fun with.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I do it.
That costs $1,000 a year. My husband's like, what are all these costs? Hootsuite, Canva, Dropbox. Then April rolls around. It's my hosting. It's my desktop server. Now I added Beaver Builder. I wish they were monthly. Because from a wife where the husband's the accountant perspective, way easier to justify $10 a month than $150.
Right.
Way easier. FYI, plug in people. Just take $10 a month. More women will buy. That's my free advice.
Oh boy.
Oh man.
You guys, I got to bounce.
Yep, same here. We are going to close the shop. It's 9 o'clock. Bridget needs to go to sleep.
Out.
Peace out.
Bye.
I need to go watch a couple hours worth of Netflix. So
it doesn't watch itself.
Does not watch itself.
After talking to David Arsenault, I have to watch 2001 all over again. He explained it to me in The Monkeys.
Oh boy!
You read the book. Yep. That's more confusing than Soylent Green. At least in Soylent Green, the people are food.
Are the food. All right, folks, that's it for tonight. Make sure you go over to our website at WPwatercooler.com/WPblab. Click on the links there to subscribe. Wow, people just start leaving instantly.
They know it's over. They don't want to hear the
Yeah, hit the thumbs up button if you're watching this on YouTube. If you are listening to this on a podcasting type thing, we may have got the podcasting thing working at that point. We'll see how that goes. That's about it, folks. You have a good rest of your day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.